Hello and welcome to Connected. On this edition, we challenge you to think independently. Two locally based artists have done that, and they will join us to discuss their beautiful works as well as their keen interest in comics and animation. Everyone has their story to tell. We'll also be joined by a local independent author to talk about his writing debut. And finally, we'll share some unique sounds with a local musician who will also be giving us a stirring performance. There's so much great talent sitting right on our doorstep, taking the world by storm. And with them, we'll get connected. But first up on the program, as we do each and every week, it is time to find out what's happening in southeast Queensland with the one and only radio guru, Hinksy. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
Not too bad. What's happening? Well,
let me tell you about a show that's coming to Brisbane, and I think it may have just started too. Well, I should know because I happen to be in it.
You're in it.
That's
you
right.
Sing, you dance, and you tell pretty ordinary jokes.
I because, well, Damien, if I must admit something, you're in the show as well.
Yes, I tried to hide that fact.
So, but yeah, it's called G'day Today. Of course,
Yes.
It's at the Studio Theatre and Cafe in Morningside, and it's a really kind of fun, inappropriate show
Yes.
about behind the scenes of a TV studio. So kind of like what we have here. We've got, you know, cameras. We've got the host. I play a TV host, which is kind of a little like Carl Stefanovic, I guess. So, yeah, if you want to get tickets, though, studiotheatre.com.au. It's going to be a fun show.
You can find out all about it, and it's going through to the 19th of December. There is Marvel and DC, but an aspect of comics that don't receive much attention are webcomics, daily, weekly and monthly instalments of a constant story you can read for free. Our first guest has produced Sparkling Generation, Valkyrie Yuki, for 13 years. And we welcome to Connected Kitty Hawk. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Nice to meet you.
It's wonderful to meet you. How did you start with your art?
Well, I write Sparkling Generation, Valkyrie Yuki. You can find that at stvy.com. And the way I got I got started because my brother was like, there's this thing called webcomics. We need to do one. And he said, you can draw and I can write. We can totally do this.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and so we wrote a comic called The Jar, and that went for about a year. But after that, he got less interested, and I wanted to do something sexy. So I decided to do a big-breasted Valkyrie who's also transgendered.
Right. Well, you've got Hinksy's attention already.
Oh, excellent.
Well, I saw some. You showed me some of that before. It is actually some pretty spectacular animation and artwork there. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, so it's been going for 13 years and has a big following. I've got a chat room online, and everything can be found at like montrose.is.
Now the thing is, Damo, quickly, you also did another drawing of a computer game that you're involved in, which is a dragon.
Yeah, this is, let's see, Bando the Dragon? This is a new game that we've just made. If you've ever heard of a ZX Spectrum, it's an old computer system from 1982, I believe.
Oh, I was not born then.
Well, the thing is that my husband and I, we've been interested in retro games for a very long time. I own 42 gaming consoles.
Oh, so just a couple?
Just a few, just laying around.
Imagine the insurance on that.
Yeah, and so we said, we didn't know much about ZX Spectrum, so I said, why don't we make one? Why don't we make a game? And so we spent 2 weeks, and we made the game, and it's available at montrose.is/mart, Montrose is Mart, and we're actually bringing out a special edition fairly soon. Should be.
Yeah, you said with sound.
With sound. With sound.
They don't mime anymore. So.
There could be potential work for you.
Oh, do you need a voice?
Well,
I can create a voice.
Maybe on the next game, because like we want to make another Bando game. Yeah.
Excellent. I can come up with a voice.
Now how did you come up with the storylines for Sparkling Generation? Do you sort of like, does it take you a while to do that?
It doesn't take me very long because actually I pretty much knew exactly what the story was from the beginning. I figured out the ending and the beginning from the beginning, and I've got these things I call milestones, which I need to make. And I can do whatever I want in between that. And that kind of gives me some flexibility, like if I think of something better to fix the story or something like that. But it's not that hard, it's just mostly the, pacing it and things like that. But yeah, I've already got an ending in mind, so it's going to be epic.
And you're not going to give it away, of course.
No.
Well, Damo, it's also interesting because we were chatting backstage a little earlier, because it's got very much, if you look at this, it's got very much an anime feel. And there's a very good reason why, you were telling me before.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I went to Japan as a child. My father was in the Navy, and so we went to Yokosuka, and I lived there for 2 years, and I became very interested in anime. Fantastic. And then I went back to the States, and no one was interested in anime at the time, but then it got really popular. I was like, yay!
Well, it sounds like you've got it all under control, and of course, people can jump online and check it all out.
Yep, sgvy.com.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
Stick around too, will you?
All right.
We'd love to have you here. And we're going to take a quick break here on Connected and come back with a lot more right after this. And welcome back to Connected. Well, the second artist to join us on the program today is an illustrator, animator, and the maker of these plush cube animals. Welcome, Mammoth. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
These are fantastic. How long have you been doing these?
I guess a couple of years, yeah, since I started with Fox here.
So that was the first one?
This was the first one.
Right. And how did you come up with the ideas for the rest?
After the Fox one, I was just kind of following a theme. But when I first started, like, I woke up at 3 a.m. one night and I was like, what if foxes were boxes? That would be amazing. And I wrote it down and woke up the next morning and looked at it and I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea or not. But I did it anyway. And
but what does the fox say?
Oh. Yep. They go, no, wait, they go like, right? That's the thing.
Whatever the song is.
I like how you've got plush box earrings as well.
Yeah. Or you could hang them on your car like a dice.
You could.
There's a lot of options.
That would be much cooler than a dice in my car. I could imagine lapping around the place with that hanging out.
Come on, foxtails.
Now, of course, apart from these cute, lovely little boxes, you also, of course, do cartoon drawings and things like that too, don't you?
Yes, I do. I do a lot of comic stuff and whatever people will pay me for is what I always say.
Is there a lot of work out there for artists to draw comics?
Not really. I mean, a lot of people want you to draw comics, but a lot of people want you to pay you for them.
Right.
So, I mean, yes and no. Yeah.
Which is a tough thing when you're trying to make a living and do what you're passionate, what you love, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is, so fortunately, like, the plush toys supplement my income a lot.
Yeah.
And that makes it possible for me.
Yeah, and so these are sort of taken up by children and adults alike?
Children and adults alike, yeah, people like to collect them. I get a lot of people come back and they're trying to collect sort of the whole rainbow of them, so that's really good.
Fantastic. And how many different designs have you got of these?
So I've got box foxes, square bears, parallelograms, and the rams come in 2 colors and the square bears come in 2 colors and the foxes come in like 7 colors. So
Great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, while you're here chatting with us, we're going to put Hinksy to task.
Well, I was doing some art lessons backstage with them, and first of all, I've drawn a sheep in the snow.
Beautiful.
Yes, great.
So that works very well. In fact, now it opened its eyes. So that's a sheep in the snow with its eyes open.
Right.
Actually, no, Damo, I'm gonna sit here and work on a little bit of art.
I'm done. I don't know more art.
How can you compete with the sheep, you know?
I can't beat that.
So just give me a moment and I'll do some art as per my lesson a little bit earlier on.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
All right. Now, look, let's get serious now, because obviously with your artworks, you've also got a project coming up called Storytellers as well, haven't you?
I do.
And what's that about?
So, I don't know if people watching the program know, but there's this thing called Kickstarter where you can get funding for projects, and it's really popular in America to make comic anthologies with independent artists, and I was really jealous because we don't really have a lot of them in Australia. So I put one together called Storytellers, which is 10 independent Australian women artists making comics about stars.
Great.
Yeah, and I've got...
and so this is sort of like one of those crowdfunding projects.
Yeah, this is a crowdfunding project. So we're crowdfunding on Kickstarter. Oh, well, by the time this airs, we'll have crowdfunded on Kickstarter. And I've got the rough draft here. And we've got all these different stories.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and it'll be a beautiful book. So we're really
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
There's an
happening.
enormous lot of time and effort and also passion that goes into what you do.
Yeah.
Do you ever wake up one day and say, why am I doing this? You know, why don't I just go and get a 9-to-5 job?
Well, I mean, I know why I'm doing it, because I'm insane. And I have no other choice. Yeah, well, I mean, I think everyone who makes comics sort of would do it whether they were paid or not, which is sort of a bad thing to admit to an audience. But
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
as you say, you know, it's something that you love doing, and you couldn't think of doing anything else.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone involved in this project is really passionate and was super great to work with.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And apart from these cute guys and also storytellers as well, any other projects you've got on the boards?
Oh man, so I'm working on a compilation of 24-hour comics. So every year, Cara and I
Yes.
get together because we know each other quite well and we live 10 minutes away from each other. And we get together every year to do a 24-hour comic, which is a thing where you sort of sit down for 24 hours straight and produce a 24-hour comic from scratch. You're meant to go in with nothing and come out with something. And we did it the 5th time this year.
Yeah, we did it in June, the big Australian one, and I actually won the contest for the 24-hour this year.
That's great.
Yeah, so I get a table at Supernova. Yay!
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
So now that's Supernova, which is, of course, tours around Australia. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. You get to meet all the big stars as well.
Yeah, but she does the most excellent 24-hour comics. It's going to be a great collection. 'Cause
Yeah.
we've got actually one of them up on Montrose, Mart, montrose.is/Mart. It's called Finn. It's a really funny story about a mermaid and a kid, and it's pretty smarmy and awesome.
Yeah.
So what's the demographic, would you say, that your work is aimed at? I mean, do you have a particular pigeonhole you like to do, or?
For me, it's really difficult because I switch up styles and content a lot.
Yeah.
So my audience is really broad. But generally, I find I appeal to a sort of teen to maybe like early 30s demographic. Yeah, most of my fans are sort of in that area there.
Great. Well,
Yeah.
Hinksy's definitely in your target audience. How's your artwork of me going,
Mate,
mate?
I've done really well here. I think you might be in for a run for your money with the 24-hour contest. There we go.
Uh-oh.
That's-
We're
So
going to
this
lose.
is
This is
Wow.
my artwork. I think this is going to be the next big thing. I think that is an incredible likeness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a
Thank
pretty
you.
good drawing of a camera, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The camera's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
We'll
it.
talk about the
pretty
rest, all right? Listen, will you stick around with us as well?
Yes.
We'd love to keep you here on the couch and talk more about what you do because it really is a fascinating side of independent art at its best. Well, our next guest is an up-and-coming Australian author with his first published novel, What's a Year to Me? And I'm pleased to say Jason Kendrick joins us on the couch. How are you, mate?
Hi, good to be here.
All right, What's a Year to Me? What's it all about?
It's about a student in his last year of high school, and he's sort of content with how it's going, which starts about halfway through, year 12. He's feeling a bit pressured to do work, but that's fine. He's got his best friend, and he's content with just one friend.
Right.
And then it's suddenly when he decides, well, his parents decide that they want to move away, things start turning a bit south. But I won't say too much about
Because you've got
what
to read
happens.
the book.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot happens in about halfway through.
Right, but needless to say, he has the issues associated with many children being relocated from their current environment to a different school, to a different lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's sort of based on a true story. It's not a true story. It's purely fiction, but the situation that happens is based on what happened to me.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
it wasn't my last year, but it was certainly a time when adolescence was sort of at an all-time high. So
Is that what inspired you to write this book?
yeah, well, I mean, a lot inspired me to write it. I didn't realize that young adult was sort of a thing, just like teenage drama and stuff like that. Then I started reading things like John Green and Rainbow Rowell, and it just all clicked for me. And
Right.
I was just like, I could write my story, but in sort of a fictional way, and that's how it happened.
Because when you were much younger, you didn't actually read a lot, did you?
No, not at all. I was content in not reading at all, actually.
Yeah.
And I would play video games all day, and I wouldn't, especially when this stuff was happening, like the situation. I couldn't care less about books, but now I'm a full-time reader and writer, apparently.
And do you think with all of the modern technology and the games that we have and that, we are losing a little bit of that sit down and pick up a hard copy book?
I think it's still definitely there. I feel like books have adapted towards it, especially with Kindle. People aren't really happy with the way that digital copies of books are going. You know, people like judge people with Kindles, for example. I have a Kindle.
Yeah.
But
Do you get judged?
yes, all the
People
time.
say, oh, you have a Kindle, you're so not a proper reader.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
Really?
I find it so much easier to read because, like,
bright.
first of all, you don't have a giant book on the plane, and
Yeah.
then like,
You can have, like,
literally,
100 books on the
touch,
plane.
I just touch like the side of the page, and it just flips it for me.
Now, I've been having a flick through. I'm up to chapter 11, which is uncomfortable, which could be the this whole interview.
wow.
But
Speak for yourself. I'm happy on this end of the couch.
That really helps
Jason's
my
great.
enthusiasm.
No, I'm actually really enjoying it. The one thing that I noticed is missing, there's no Gryffindor, Slytherin, or Hufflepuff in there.
No, that would be copyright. So,
Okay, well, that would explain why. But I'm actually really enjoying it. It's a good book. You know, what's a year to me?
how are you up to chapter 11 already?
Because I am a speed reader.
Okay, well, you know there's
Done.
going to be a test after this, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, apparently the chatter on the bus was like he'd never heard before.
Oh, there you go. There you go. You've already...
He went to chapter 11 purely because he was looking for the pictures in the book. But that's another story. Jason, also helping you get this on was a certain platform, wasn't it? That you found yourself on and you thought, sign me up for this, you know,
yeah,
creating source
absolutely.
stories.
Well, as I said before, young adult, like I didn't realize young adult fiction was a thing.
Yeah.
And then I started reading all about it, and I couldn't put young adult books down. And then suddenly I was like, yep, cool, I'm good.
So how long did it take you to write this one?
About 3 months.
Right.
It was a crazy 3 months. I just decided that let's just dedicate that time.
Did you get
Yeah,
writer's
but-
block at any point?
Oh, absolutely.
And how
Every
did you
day.
get, How did you get through it?
Keep writing. The best thing you can do for yourself
But if
to
you've got
write
writer's block,
to get
doesn't-
no. Writer's block doesn't exist.
Really?
No.
Oh.
You just
I've
tell,
just got a
you just
block
tell
thing.
yourself no. You're just having a bad day. So.
All right, well, we're going to have a fantastic read of this, and it's so inspirational to reach out to you guys, all of you on the couch, perhaps not so much Hinksy, but the rest of you, because you're so inspirational, because you're following your dreams, and you're independent, and you're creating your own works in the way that you want to, which I think is just tremendous.
Hey,
Yeah,
Damo, I
absolutely.
just want to quickly say we've got another drawing here that's been happening while the interview's been going.
Right, okay, and this is?
Me.
Oh, look, it looks too good to be you. Can't be
To
possibly
be
you.
cartoonised.
Oh, actually, there's next to you, on the next one, that's a picture of you on Friday night.
Him in the afro, yeah.
We're going to take a very quick break here on Connected and come back with a lot more right after this. And welcome back to Connected. Our final guest is a brilliant young musician from southeast Queensland. Over the past 4 years, she has drawn inspiration from many different artists and genres to create a versatile sound enjoyable to any listener. We welcome to the Connected couch, Kate McKay. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Great. How did you get into the music game?
When I was younger, my school was putting on a musical and no one knew the words to one of the songs, so my teacher gave me a microphone and figured out that I was pretty good.
Which musical?
It was one of those musicals that the school writes themselves, so
okay.
it wasn't very good.
But obviously, you know, it gave you enough inspiration to keep going into the music business.
Well, definitely, yeah. I started teaching myself, so I probably would have been 11 or 12 then, and then taught myself guitar when I was 15. And my high school really helped out as well because they have a really great arts program. So we put on a lot of our own shows, and that really gave me the experience of sort of how to play professionally, I suppose,
Yeah.
so I can do everything myself now.
Schools play a very important role, don't they? And I mean, many undervalue that it can be the start and the seedling for the career down the track.
Definitely, I would not be playing now if I didn't go to my high school. So, yeah, they just taught us so many different things like lighting and sound and, you know, what not to do. and I got my cert for music from my school as well. So
Great.
it was definitely one of the best things I've done.
So coming into your own solo career, how did you decide which sort of genre you wanted to follow, or is it totally independent?
Well, I mostly play covers, so I sort of just figured out what people like to hear and what places want to book me for, you know, what's popular. If people get up and dance and they like it, or you can kind of see if someone's not into what you're playing. So I play a lot of different kinds of music, but I sort of change them into an acoustic style that suits what I do. So.
Right, so you're a guitarist and vocalist?
Yes.
Yep. Have you learnt any other instruments?
I learnt piano for about 6 years, but I'm not very good at it.
Well, after 6 years, something must have rubbed off.
Yeah.
I love it.
I can play chopsticks.
Yes, we've heard that. Yeah.
And that's only when I go to my favourite Chinese restaurant.
Oh, dear me.
Now, you were saying earlier that you do covers, but you also do some of your own stuff, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Because you're actually going to perform one of your own songs here today.
I sure am.
So what's it called?
It hasn't got a name. I'm not good at
Really?
the names.
Well,
Yeah.
what sort of song is it?
Like it's a little bit sad. I don't really know how to describe it. It's an emotional song, I suppose.
I think I might have a name for you.
Oh yeah.
I Feel Like Crying.
Yeah, I'm not alone in thinking that, actually. Actually, great. Well, we're going to get you to perform for us today. It's great to talk to you. Is there a website people can catch up with your gigs?
Yes, I have a Facebook page, so it's just Kate McKay, and it's a like page, so head on over there.
All right, and no doubt heaps of fans already jumping on there for you.
Yeah, I'm actually starting to get a lot more fans lately, so not really sure how that's happening, but keep going.
All right, well, we're going to get you to perform on the show for us right now, so thank you so much for joining us on the couch.
Thank you for having me, guys.
And we're going to get Kate to wander over to the performance area here on Connected to give us a rendition of, well, Hinksy's titled, I Feel Like Crying.
There's a fire in your bones, reaching for your soul, trying to take you home. There's a fire and it knows it's waiting down the road, won't tell you where to go. As the smoke clears your cry, drowning your eyes, it took you by surprise. As you grow, you hope for a change, the world to rearrange, everything to fall in place. Can you hear me? I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. Can you hear me? I'm shouting for your love. Hold me closer, I wouldn't be further from your love. And I'll look through your mind, trying to find a lie. Can't look you in the eye, and you're close, but you feel so far. I don't know who you are, I don't know where you are. Can you hear me? I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. Can you hear me? I'm shouting for your love. Hold me closer, I couldn't be further from your arms. Oh, won't take me down for what I know. You can't take me down for where I go. Won't take me down, 'cause I'll go. I'm leaving it all behind. Can you hear me? I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. Can you hear me? I'm shouting for your love. Hold me closer, I couldn't be further from your arms. Can you hear me? You can't hear me. You won't hear me.
It's Kate McKay. Thank you so much for joining us on Connected, Kate. Pleasure. And that's about all the time we have for you on this edition of the program. Until next week, always stay connected. Bye for now.